Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Eve. This is Everyday Artist, and welcome. This is Roke, who loves it when I come to a video, don't you? Yeah, but don't lick my face. I know where that tongue's been, and I don't like it. So far, it has been a pretty good August. I came over here to sit down to start the video, and I forgot something I've been working on, but I'll get that in a minute. So, yesterday, my sister works for the symphony in Phoenix here, the Phoenix Symphony. She works in the offices, not playing, although she did graduate from the New England Conservatory of Music. My other sister also graduated with a master's in music performance from IU in Indiana. So pretty much a musical background. Not me, but our family is very much likes music. My dad loved music, and he stressed that all of us should learn how to play an instrument and know music. And my mom was a first grade teacher. She was a teacher in all aspects of her life, at church, in her job. You rarely saw my mom without a group of kids trailing behind her. She was the kind of teacher that parents would ask to have their younger kids put in the same classroom with her, and just absolutely loved kids, and they loved her. So she was all for us learning about the arts. She took us to all kinds of artistic and musical things when we were very young. So my siblings all went into music. As I said, my two sisters, symphonic music. My brother does more popular music. He's a very talented keyboard artist, and he does keyboards for a lot of bands, but mostly for a Santana cover band that is very good. And I'm the odd one out. I always wanted art, and my mom indulged that, to be sure. And so my sister said, "Hey man, there's a Beatles concert this weekend." Now, she worked for a long time at a place it was a no-profit thing in Scottsdale. And we went to a Beatles thing there, and that was a band, a cover band for the Beatles, and they were very good. We really enjoyed it. But this was a symphony, and I was like, but I said, sure, let's go. My sister and I, the one I live with, we grew up hearing the Beatles, loved listening to them. When I say we grew up hearing them, we were very young when Hey Jude was on the radio. So we chose to hear them, records and stuff like that. Not that they were on the radio much anymore after that. So I said, sure. I love a lot of their music, right? And but with the symphony, how's that going to work? It was fabulous. I have one of the programs here. This is the conductor, but he also arranged the music. And it was called And I Love Her, the Beatles Reimagined. And there were several songs. But it was so good. They had a guy on, they had a couple of guys, one on bass, one on a regular guitar, that were brought in with him. They weren't of the symphony. They had a guy on a piano that was also brought in, but most of the music was provided by the symphony, and there were 4 singers. Some of them just blew you out of the water. A couple of these guys, one of the singers was particularly, I was like, ah. And the guitarist was fantastic. They all were good, don't get me wrong. But I don't know that this is touring. I know that they had to get special permission to use Beatles music and blah, 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 but it was arranged and orchestrated by Steve Hackman, and apparently he has also done one of these with Bob Dylan. Anyway, if you're in a city where you see this, go see it. It's really good. I think on our channel, we recorded Saturday. It aired yesterday. There was a discussion about music, and that when you want an art, when you want to learn, if you want to make your own art, make your own music, be a musician who writes their own music, be an artist who does their own art, one of the things that you should do is learn what came before. And this guy, I mean, he's pretty young, but he took music that had to have been before. Let me see how old he is. If it says even, it's probably before he was born. But he did such a good job of translating this popular music into a different genre. And what's really nice, the place was packed. It was a Sunday, but the place was packed. And I think a lot of that is, the symphony. A lot of people want to support the symphony, but also the Beatles. But the way he did it was respectful to their music, but to actually emphasize the lyrics. The reason he called it "And I Love Her" is he wanted to concentrate a lot on the women that they wrote about, that they made up characters of, So, yeah, if you get a chance, and even if you don't get a chance, support your local symphony or whatever music that you have in your area. I don't go to that a lot, but if you look at their concerts, often they have Pops concerts and stuff like that, and these are different, and so check it out. So I want to see. I'm thinking where to start. This is a cross stitch mostly about. This is a channel mostly about cross stitch, but I also do. I sew, I quilt, I paint, I draw, and I haven't shown a lot of those lately. And my son's like, "Mom, why don't you ever paint anymore?" And my dad used to ask me that a lot, and I'm like, well, because I'm happy. That creative thing in me is happy when I'm doing cross stitch. When I haven't designed as much as maybe I should, but that creative thing in me is being satisfied by what I'm doing. But I don't think it should be. I think I need to get back to the gift that I was given, and and do more of that. And I've been really kind of struggling with that. So I may get out my pencils and paints and, do more of that. We'll see. I'm also designing a bag for the symphony to carry some of their educational products in, and that has been very time consuming. So I haven't gotten as much done, even cross stitch wise, as I would like, but that's on the home stretch for the first one, and then I have to do 3 more. But that being said, today is all cross stitch. So I have a finish. Falalamingo hands-on design, and I finished it Friday night. So I probably will not finish it this way. I might. I know that on her website, you can watch the tutorial and probably even get the shape for that. But it's a little bit bigger than I'd like, for an ornament. Definitely not for a decoration of some kind. And while my sister and I want to get a small tree for cross stitch ornaments, I do not want, these are really big if you're going to put it on a small tree. But I don't, I'm thinking smaller ornaments, and she's done some really small ones, and I've done a couple, but I've designed a couple actually. On our Three Sisters Creative Etsy shop, there's one that's called Waiting for Santa. My sister stitched it, but I designed it. And it's one cat looking up at the sky, Santa coming in, and a little sad tree. But she stitched it on one of the fabrics that has a grid of squares on it. I can't remember what it's called. And I like the way it looks on that, but that wasn't how I pictured it when I designed it. And yet I look at it and go, I really like that. And that's true for most designs. You change the look by what kind of fabric you put them on. And I love seeing the difference in how things look when you change it by putting on a different fabric, or even changing the color of some things. Anyway, I digress. So that is my finish. I thought I was going to have 2 finishes. Now this is from the Christmas Ornaments cross stitch magazine, and it is, I put a bigger picture right here, but I want to find the information, and it is Snowflake sheep. Here's a picture, if I haven't already posted a bigger one. It is by Lindsey Whitney of Counting Puddles. And this is where I am. Now, I am almost done. All I have left to do is the little, it's supposed to be French knots. And I showed you the red shiny fabric thread. It's a DMC thread. And I thought, okay, I'll use that as that cord and do the French knots in that. I started the French knots and they look awful. I can't get a tight knot without part of it hanging out. I did more down here, and I'm like, I don't like that. I'm not going to do it. So I have to cut these out. And then I'll, now I do like the way that shiny thread looked on top of the scarf. But I'll either put little beads, which I have red little beads, or I'll just use this red and make all the lights out of that. I think it's more important that it not be something that's gonna be a Christmas gift, and I certainly don't want it to be something I'm not proud of. So I'm going to change it up to thread that I can make a decent knot with. French knots, I like them when they come out good, but so often, they're not tight to the fabric, or they're, one thread is sticking out and you can't get it back in, or what have you. And so if you're using a thread that makes it difficult to get that knot looking the way you want it to look, then, change the thread. So that's what I'm going to do. And I took on, you're good. It's okay. You can lay there if you want to. Plant pots, Darling and Whimsey. I'm working on the black one. So I took the suggestion by one of my viewers to just make a fattier. I talked to my sister about it, and she's like, yeah, I think I mentioned that that I was off on the count. When am I not off on the count? I don't know. So 1 year's fat, and I think it looks fine. I don't have any issue with that. And that means that the plant won't be, perfectly centered. I'm good with that because the eyes are. So, yeah, she's not going to get that for her birthday. Her birthday's tomorrow. Yeah, well, we can only do what we can do, right? So, plugging away at that. Well, let's just say for Christmas, not last year. I don't think it was last year. It might have been last year, but a year before. She stitched me a snowman pattern that she just finished, fully finished, right? And I was like, okay, I can give her cats in June. That'll be okay. Hopefully I'll get it done sooner than that. So right here is my WhipGo project from this month, which is Chronicles of Narnia by Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts book stitching book club. And I am not a lot further along. Hold on, I have thread. So this wasn't done. So I finished that and I started down here and I got these in, and I started realizing something was very wrong because I had this row done. Well, part of that row done. The colors are just like this, where they're, color and then spots where it kind of goes into the other color. And I was like, something is wrong. And I based where this was on that. So this might be in the wrong place. And I took out one and I said, you know what? I'm going to wait and see what happens after I finish this part. But I want to do those ornaments, and that sheep is taking forever, and it's already October, and I have that bag I have to finish sewing, and it's 2 feet by 3 feet. It's a big bag. So it's not something that's going to come together in 5 minutes. So, well, the bags that I make for Etsy, start to finish, are about an hour, but I never, go through it like that because I generally don't have, I have to keep coming back and coming back. So I don't know. And, if I get the WhipGo projects done, I do. And if I don't, I don't. And I'll just, it's more important I get the bag done on time so that I can get paid for it. And, go from there. So the last thing I have is, actually there's one more thing which I have to run and get. The last thing I have is, and then I said last thing again. Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts 2023 temperature sal, and we are on October. And we are getting into Chamber of Commerce weather here in Phoenix. That's what I call it. Because when people visit here during this time of year, they're like, oh man, I love it. I'd love to live here. This is great. I'll visit here during this time anytime because you can do all kinds of work or activities and stuff because it's starting to get really nice. So we've had some, it's hard to show it now because it's getting bigger, lower temperature days. We had one day that was 2 days that were 100 or over. But it's starting to get where it's very, very pleasant most of the time. I say that, okay. If you're sitting outside in direct sun, it is hot, okay. 88 and all that is still hot if you're sitting in direct sun. But if you're sitting in the shade, there's no, it's okay. It's not, it's not 115, 117. So, for us, this is beautiful fall weather. You have to remember that 88 degrees is a good, 30 degrees cooler. So, yeah. Yeah, so that's where we are so far. And I have got to get busy on this border. But we're coming to the end of the year. How did that happen so fast? I don't know. I had the dog with me, so I'm not sitting centered, and now she's over there, so, it looks strange. I have one more thing. I'll be right back. Okay. This one's a ghost. The neighbor is outside by his truck, and he had the audacity to lock it. This is the little boo, so I put things that scare, like a spider and a scary pumpkin. And I have not done the others yet, so I hadn't put those on Etsy. But I was thinking that perhaps I could put those two up, and then as I get the other ones done, put them up, because I'm not sure how much time I'm going to have to do them, and I do want to get them there, so I might go ahead and put those up. However, the first pictures I took are on the spiderweb tablecloth, and you can't really see them. So I'm going to have to put them on something else to take their pictures, but I'm going to try to get those up, and then as I work on the other ones, just keep adding them. So anyway, it's been another very short video. Support your arts in your area, and I'll see you next week. Thanks.